Boom! Welcome to episode 2 of the PowerStart podcast. So technically this episode was already out there in 3 parts. Part 1 was on Devon Larratt's YouTube channel. Part 2 was on Matt Mask's, and Part 3 was actually on mine. This is a combination of all 3 parts put together, and you get a fancy intro. So just to give you a bit of a background on who I was talking to, we had Devon, No Limits Larratt, Matt, Wild Horse Mask, and Jodie Larratt, Devon's wife, came and stopped by for a bit. So if you don't know anything about these guys, these are some of the top arm wrestlers in Canada. Devon being one of the top guys in the world. You know, you can make the argument that he's probably number 1 in the world right now. Shortly after the podcast, Devon actually had a arm wrestling match with Michael Todd, who at the time was number 1 or number 2 in the world. The only guy, outside of those 3 guys contending for that top spot is this guy, Levon. He's this Georgian monster kind of hiding in the shadows. So Michael Todd was actually supposed to have a match with Levon in Dubai, but things fell through and Devon jumped in short notice and kind of put on the performance of a lifetime and probably the biggest arm wrestling event of all time to date. And he's doing the same thing again, literally right now. There's a boxing match, and Devon's not a boxer, between Eddie Hall and Thor Bjornsson that fell through because Eddie Hall got injured. And Devon, being the wild man he is, decided, put me in, coach, and he jumped in as a late replacement to Eddie Hall and is now fighting Thor Bjornsson in a boxing match in less than 4 weeks, or less than 5 weeks. Sorry. In less than a month, either way. And anyways, shortly after the podcast, Matt Mask also had a match against Hermes Gasparini, who again is another phenomenal arm wrestler, one of the top guys in the world. And so the way the podcast came together was, Matt Mask was coming in town, and me and Devon were talking, and he thought it'd be a great opportunity to sit everybody down and, get some good content on, talking about what's going on. We talked a lot about arm wrestling culture. Definitely the Troll Army came up, and it was very interesting. It was very interesting. And then Jodie, being Devon's wife, gave us a bit of, insight into other things going on behind the scenes. And I'm not sure if we talked much about Jodie's ventures, but she's producing a show right now. She has all kinds of really cool stuff going on. But I don't know. Enough rambling. Let's get on with the episode. So episode 2 of the PowerStart podcast with Devon Larratt, Matt Mask, and Jodie Larratt.
How you guys ever notice when you drink and you lift this finger? Sign of class.
Is that right? Eh?
You ever notice that?
You're a classy dude.
See that?
Yeah.
Hey, so this is super cool. So I feel like we're in like the most checked out podcast room. We got umbrellas with lights. We got these super mics. We got cameras everywhere.
We got the foam for the echo.
Yeah. Good job, Matthias. Look at
Thanks,
you
man.
go,
Appreciate
man.
I'm impressed.
Appreciate
I'm
it.
impressed.
Yeah. Such a checked out dude. Anybody who doesn't know Matthias, well, actually, this podcast, we're going to chop it up.
Put it everywhere.
Yeah, so I'll have part 1 going over to Matt's channel for part 2 and Matthias's channel for part 3. Obviously, you guys probably know Matt by now. Matthias and I met about, I don't know, it's been 6 months? Time
Something
flies,
like
man.
that. Some of it, like 6 months or so.
I met Matthias yesterday.
There we go.
That's right, yeah.
Matthias and I met through the ArmBet app, and Matthias is now the team lead for all the programmers in ArmBet, just as another thing that Matthias does. He doesn't just do this kick-ass podcast.
Second episode. I haven't done too much yet, right? So
you know, you're one. We have done some good stuff though. Like
True.
some of the funny stuff that you guys have seen on my channel, a lot of it is coming from Matthias. Just so you guys know, like the Levon interview, which was fucking hilarious. Oh my god! So this is the brains behind that operation, guys. It's Matthias, and there's some more funny stuff coming that I'm really excited about.
You know, maybe the outro will make it.
Oh
part
yeah.
Of the...
Okay. Yeah. Let's give a little teaser in there. Yeah. Anyways.
Yeah.
So one big happy family now, and now we got Matt come in from Red Deer just to beat the piss out of my arm, and you got a match coming up too, maybe.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah, they're
Still working through the details.
Still working on the final details, but we should be here, and I'm putting out an announcement probably within the next day or two.
Hey, can we talk about that like right now? Like before we get deep into this podcast?
When are we going to be airing this?
What, about a week or so?
But listen, we don't need to talk about the details of the match. I just want to talk about Hermes.
What about
Because it is Hermes, right? Like everybody knows Matt's lining up a match with Hermes.
Yeah.
Okay, so...
Well, Hermes is lining up a match with me.
Right, Hermes is after you.
Yeah.
Like, to me, there can be no debate. Hermes Gasparini is a phenomenal arm wrestler.
World class.
Phenomenal. Oh my God. Like,
Bring it closer.
you know, you watch this guy arm wrestle. He's exactly the way you should arm wrestle. Perfect. But it pisses me off that this guy is so whiny. It really does. Like, it really pisses me off. How come he can be such a good arm wrestler and be so not cool at all? Like, how does that work? Hermes. Matt fucking... I shouldn't swear. There's no
I can
swearing.
swear. I always
Yeah?
beep it out. Yeah.
You're not beeping nothing out, are you?
I can. Depends where you put it. Yeah.
You know, that was... We all take losses, right? Like, you take losses in whatever you do. And
Sometimes you got to take a punch on the chin, right?
and, you know, the best thing you can do is take it. When you deserve it, you got to take it. And, like, man, as a human being, if you like make excuses and make yourself unaccountable, it doesn't show a positive future, you know. And man, you take a loss, you swallow that thing.
Everybody wants to be a victim nowadays, right?
Makes me a bit sad. You know, if you beat him again,
Well, now there will be no excuses.
oh
right?
my God,
There will be nothing.
I'll say this though: some of the best troll names are Hermes names.
they're really good.
Some of the best ones. Yeah.
The best is
Like-
Herpes. Herpes Gasparini.
Hermes has no weenie. That one's good.
Yeah.
Dude
that's
is
good one, too.
For real, he is a phenomenal arm wrestler. He is a phenomenal arm wrestler.
Yeah.
And
His athletic ability is almost unmatched by most, right? So
man, pisses me off. Pisses me off the way. And everybody got on board with it afterwards. They were like putting so much stake into what happened after you just won the match, when you went over and you even watch the grip. Like, you go over and put your hand on his, he's all loaded up and he folds you over a couple times. You're like, good job, buddy. Yeah, you're not that bad. And he took that and he freaking ran.
he ran with it.
It's so upsetting to me. I hate getting pissed off about stuff. And that pisses me off, man, because I love
Devon
arm
doesn't
wrestling.
get mad very often, right,
but
Matthias?
it does. It pisses me off when I see stuff like that, because it's like, I know this is an awesome guy, but he's not being cool. He's not being cool.
Devin just creating sound bites right now.
I hope it's like part 2 was just like part 1. And listen, if and when you beat him, I want you to go on that practice table afterwards, and I want you to let him beat you one more time.
What?
I want you go to that practice table afterwards, and you give him the practice table victory. And so,
I will.
yeah,
I will.
that's got to be a
will.
thing. It's got to be a thing.
Get a trophy made up.
Yeah.
I'll bring a medallion with me.
No, I mean like a practice table trophy, practice table champ trophy.
I don't know if they deserve a trophy. I think it should just be a medallion.
I don't know. I have a buddy of mine. He does 3D printing, and he could make like
What about stickers?
hilarious-
Yeah.
You could make
Make a
like a
sticker.
practice table champ.
Just with like a star, a big star.
Star is good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could put that on my shirt maybe. I was pretty hot today at practice. Yeah, I think only pork chop beat me today.
All right.
Yeah.
You guys go all day?
Off and on all day, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're gonna hit it hard for like the next 4 probably. Well,
Yeah.
what is it?
Next 3-4
Tuesday,
days.
Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Yeah, we'll turn into hamburger here over the next couple days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just for anybody who doesn't know, you guys are essentially the number 1 and number 2 arm wrestlers in Canada, I would say, right?
I'd say we have been for some
Yeah.
time.
It's been a few years, yeah.
Yeah. So Matt and I met about 20 years ago.
21 years ago.
21 years ago, yeah. So Matt was just
2000.
just a 14-year-old boy walking into the bar, and
I was 18.
so he was 18. So 14 plus 4, and me being, I don't know, what was I, like 23 at that time? What
I
else?
thought you were like 29
Yeah.
or 30, something
Yeah,
like
I
that.
had a big full beard and, all
Yeah.
sorts of scars and just like that.
Wasn't quite like that.
That's the exaggerated
Yeah.
version. Yeah.
So,
Pretty
because
good.
we all know Devon can't hit, so.
Pretty good. Back then I was a bit faster.
You were faster, yeah.
Back
But you're
then-
also a lot thinner, too.
Yeah. I was
So,
thinner,
You're
faster.
lean, mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, carrying around about 3.5% body fat.
God damn. What happened, man?
Yeah, you
What
let
happened?
yourself go.
I really
let
have.
yourself go.
Jeez.
So where was this? Where'd you guys have your first match?
That was in Big Luke's, North Bay, 2000 Provincials, Ontario.
Okay.
That's when that was.
Was that the first time?
Yeah, because there was the Collingwood tournament. That was about a month and a half prior, but I never competed with you. You ended up beating. That was the first tournament that you beat Mike Gould. and
But we
Rowan
pulled
Schmidt.
afterwards, right?
No, we never did pull that day. It wasn't. It was after provincials. After provincials, we ended up pulling.
Yeah.
Well, that better.
You should never get old, people. Don't get old, whatever you do. Hold on to that youth.
Yeah, they get clinics for that now, right?
Yeah, they do. That's
Stay young
right.
forever.
Youth clinics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, get on that right away, because once it starts sliding, you become a King's mover, and nobody likes a King's mover.
That's the truth.
Nobody likes.
So what's old in arm wrestling now, I guess?
Devon. Devon's old.
I
Devon.
think
Ron Bath is old.
there's a couple dividing lines. I think that you start to actually, your first part of getting old is sometime in your mid-30s.
Yeah.
I think that that's the first part when it's like your injuries, like
You take a little longer to heal. You wake
Yeah.
up a little more sore in the mornings. Your heavy, hard practices are a couple more days before you bounce back again. So,
But I mean, it's a different world now. Like, I mean, age is not what it was. Oh, that's Jodie.
Could be.
Oh no.
Sorry, I'll go get it.
I don't know. Like, I mean, Crazy George is almost 70.
he is, yeah.
Yeah, and he's not as good as he was either.
No.
But when he
But he's
was
still
like
pulling.
67 or 67, I would have still put Crazy George as number 1 in the world at 176. 67 years old.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever seen many people beat him. So, Anthony Dall'Antonio once.
Yeah.
Twice.
But I don't think he was worse at 67 than he was at 57.
No.
Yeah.
No.
I think we got Jodie here. The tone of this interview is probably going to change. She always gets really aggressive with stuff and kind of starts to get. Oh, what we got? What's that sound? That was just for you. Hey, Robert.
Hi.
We just starting to talk about stuff. So, did we have a bunch of questions that people wanted to ask us today? Well, why don't we bust them open and get on some. So we get out of my incoherent rambling about nothing. Hey, I just totally destroyed Matt and Matthias
That doesn't
at
surprise me. Oh wait,
at a Bubble Bobble video game.
Bubble.
Yeah.
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 Apparently, he's got like 3,000 hours.
Yeah.
Is that
playing this
is that,
game.
Is that 90s?
Yeah.
Bubble? Yeah,
Uh-huh.
90s.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be early
Yeah.
90s, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I can't lose at that game.
Congratulations.
Give
Thank
me a
you.
week. I'll crush you.
No.
Crush you.
No, it's impossible.
I got money on him.
So
So
what?
for one, you guys might want to get tight as possible to the mic.
Hey,
Just so you
one
know.
thing that is kind of neat that
Hi,
we
Mike.
share is you were taught basically by the same guy that I was taught by.
Not the same guy. The
Well,
brother.
Yeah,
The
kind
brother.
of the same though.
Yeah.
Dion Aaron?
Dion.
Right.
Dion Lagel was yours.
Yep.
Aaron Lagel was mine.
And
Kind of took me underneath
Dion
my wing.
taught Aaron. Did you know that?
Yeah.
So Dion taught Aaron, and Aaron took it to like some crazy level.
Yeah. His technician ability was
Yeah, he was way
like
up
someone
there.
I've never seen.
Yeah.
So
But Dion was like really fundamental. Like, did you ever meet Dion?
yeah, I've met Dion a few times.
When you met him, how old were you?
I was 39.
Oh, so okay, so okay. So
that was about 8 months ago.
Oh, really? Wow, so you just met him.
Yeah.
Oh my God. So is he still strong?
Yeah, he's older now, right? He's older, he's been out of the game, but he's still got
Old man strength?
the
Yeah.
old man strength, just the quick, the fire, the
Because when
snap.
I met him,
His transitions are still just as quick as back in the day. I used to watch videos that Aaron used to send me from him all the time.
he's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Still to this day, I don't think I've ever met a human being that was as fit as Dion Langell when I knew him.
He was pretty ripped, eh?
It's just ridiculous. He was like a walking fire. Like he
Mhm.
was like a real life Wolverine. He was like 165 pound, just made out of steel guy. He worked faster than anybody I've ever seen. Like so we had a shop at Nausco. He was like the head of the welding shop at so he was, fixing trucks and stuff all day long. He would basically be running. That was his tempo. Running, everything was like he was doing everything like faster than I could do it at my fastest ever tempo. Like all day long. Just watching the guy was like, dude, what is wrong with you? Like yeah, ridiculous athlete.
How
Ridiculous.
old's the guy?
So when I knew him, so I met him when I was 18, and he at that time was 32, and I couldn't do anything with this guy, and I've told this story a few times, but so when I got to Nausco, this oil field service company, I was 18, full of fire, and
Piss and vinegar.
and I loved arm wrestling already, but I'd never met a pro. So he was the first pro that I met. And I arm wrestled everybody in the shop. Like I was always arm wrestling people, and I could beat everybody, but every time I beat somebody, they're like, yeah, but you can't beat Dion. And I was like, fucking whatever, man. I'll kill Dion. Like bring Dion to me. And of course, I very quickly figured out who Dion was. This 32-year-old
132 pounds.
Yeah.
No. He was
wasn't
like
very big.
165.
So,
But he his arms were like probably the size of mine now. On a 165-pound body, and just only muscle.
mhm.
And finally, after me pestering him for like 2 months, he agreed to arm wrestle me. Do you know this story?
No, I don't think I heard the full story.
So he agreed to arm wrestle me, and he just completely killed me. Like
Mm.
completely just trashed me, right?
But that's not how Devon retold
Well,
the story.
So I, being, an idiot, am just trying harder and harder and harder. And when you got that new guy who's trying so hard and he's in total break arm position trying to win, you might just give him the one where you're worried he's going to break his arm. You ever been like that?
Yeah.
Right, so that's me. So he gave me that one. So he gave me one where he thought I was gonna probably break my arm. Anyway, so the next day I told everybody that I wrecked him. Yeah, and it got back to him, and pretty quick, and yeah, so he didn't like totally humiliate me or anything. He was just like, you should really not tell people stuff like that, and kind of made me feel a bit bad about it. Everybody knew I was
Full of shit.
fibbing anyways, but he saw something in me and he used me as a punching bag for like a few months. Yeah, taught me how to. He was the guy who started me on like proper arm wrestling.
Yep.
Yeah, and then I met Aaron. Yeah, went to a tournament with Aaron and Dion within like 2 weeks of that. Like before we even started practicing, we went to the first event.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Then Aaron came to our house, didn't he? Didn't Aaron come to our house in at Uplands and stay with us for a while?
I don't remember
Your
anything.
brain is something else.
Seriously?
There was the best. I think it was the best quote we ever got about making a plan from Aaron staying at our house.
No. That's Luke Reimer.
Ooh, my bad.
See?
Sorry.
Whose brain doesn't work?
True.
right?
True. I'll eat that one.
Luke Reimer. Remember
Another
Luke?
great
I remember
Canadian
Luke, yeah.
arm wrestler.
Luke Reimer. That's a guy who had so much talent.
Sky
Yeah.
for potential.
Yeah. Make a plan.
God laughs.
God laughs at you. That's it. Yeah. Yeah,
Hmm.
it's good. Yeah.
Where's he from?
BC. Yeah.
Yeah, but this guy, so Luke Reimer, the thing that really like speaks a lot about Luke Reimer to me is got wins over everybody, really, like in his short, illustrious career, including John Brzenk.
Yeah. One win.
Yeah, he beat
That was like
John.
the Calgary Stampede poll.
Yeah, beat John in the Calgary Stampede around 2000.
2000, 2002.
Somewhere around
something like
there.
that.
Yeah, it was a time when he and I were like, we were both winning. Like I beat him, but then he beat John. So then we set up this big match between the two of us in Winnipeg after that. But so Luke Reimer was
There was 3 brothers too at the time.
Yeah, that's right.
Yep.
It's actually like 10 brothers, I think.
They had a lot of
3 of them
brothers.
that were big time into arm wrestling though. So
Yeah, good chess players too.
yeah.
So he went to the Worlds in WAF, and it was in England, I think, and Neil Pickup was running the event, so he did a good job, and there was girls walking around to hype the finals.
Promote it, yep.
Yeah, and he was so pissed that he didn't come out.
Well, because he was so religious.
Well,
Yeah.
and it
He was
wasn't it
so
also about
religious and was
being a-
against, I think it was something to do with against his religion to utilize women as objects.
It was also about competing in a bar.
No, but it wasn't in a bar.
Because he had competed there most of the day.
Yeah, no, it was
It was
the women.
It was as soon as they started using women as sex objects, that's when he
Well, good
he
for
pretty
him.
much walked away from a world title because
Yeah.
he was
No, he was
he
in
was
the
on the
finals.
A side.
A side, yeah.
A side unbeatable at
Yeah,
it.
he
Like, nobody was
won a
touching
gold medal, and he walked away from it.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Because of a bikini. Hey?
Respect.
A bikini.
Smart
Yeah.
guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Smart guy. Yeah. Anyways. Did you ever pull him?
Yeah, I've pulled him. I
Yeah?
got wins on him.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's got wins on me. I got wins on him. But
Yeah. That'd be good if he came back. Yeah, he's probably all old and washed up now. Not like me, old and kicking ass.
And never washed.
Nice.
Hey?
Nice.
yeah.
I knew having her here was gonna be a good
Yeah.
time.
I mean, I just like to keep it real.
Yeah.
So you were saying so
They
mid
they can't smell
No.
from watching. So.
That's
Pure power.
That's the next version of the podcast.
Yeah.
right?
Olfactory system. Check.
Yeah.
So you're saying so mid 30s. You guys are saying is kind of starting to get the age, feeling the age in arm wrestling, right?
Your recovery time, I think, starts to
Yeah.
go downhill.
What do you
More
guys think is like?
aches and pains.
What do you think is like the max? Like the max where you can be like competitive still, like a world level.
Change.
I say into 50s.
Everything has changed now.
I
It's much different than it used to be, but I love to use the example of George. While you were out, we actually were talking about George. And I mean, Crazy George was 67, and I would have said he was the #1 guy in the world.
At 67.
Yeah, I would.
Now that's an extreme case.
It is.
Like, that's not.
I know, but
general,
the thing is
but it doesn't.
as
means
soon
that
as
that
there's
limit,
one,
that's there. Yeah, exactly.
yeah,
The
as soon as
potential's
one
there.
person does it, it's like another guy can do it, and another. And I really think that the age will continue to be pushed. Like, I think it all comes down to motivation. Like, if a person has motivation to do it, you know, and they can overcome whatever injuries that they have.
I was gonna say that'd be the biggest thing is once you hit above that 40, 45, if you can maintain that injury free, I think you can go and still be competitive till you're in your 50s. But it's once you hit that age, then you start getting them injuries
It's
or
the
shit
injuries.
starts
I
occurring.
think that's it. I think
That's
from my perspective,
that's when it's
the
really going
injuries.
to put
It's
you
not
down
the
because
age. If you get injured,
it's
that's when
not
it
it's
starts to
not
become
like if you're
problematic.
20 and you get injured 2 months you're back into it. When you're
Right.
50 and you get injured, you're looking at 4, 6, 8 months. That's a lot of time lost, right?
And
And if you ain't using it, you're gonna lose it. So
unpopular reality, your chance of being relevant as an old arm wrestler typically means you will be a King's mover. Just saying. I'm just
not that
saying.
there's anything wrong with that.
I'm just saying, if you plan on arm wrestling in your 50s at a high level, you might be in the open top roll King's move debate. You might find yourself
Desperation.
you might find yourself desperate. Not that there's anything wrong with
Not
that.
that there's anything wrong with that.
No.
all to one's own.
What about weight? So you think like if you're an older guy, do you think you could keep it going longer at the heavier weight classes, or do you think the lighter weight classes? Because I know with like fighting, usually the lighter weight classes, age hits you way faster because speed's more important, right?
Yeah.
Whereas with arm wrestling, is speed the most important thing when you're
fatter
the lighter
you are
guys?
at arm wrestling, apparently.
I don't know. I mean, I feel like
That would be a tough one.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
a tough one to say for sure because you have examples of old dudes across all the divisions.
Yeah.
I think it's really hard. I think that the super heavyweight division is the hardest. I really do. Like I think I would have me personally, I think I could remain relevant in the 225-pound division or the 215 or the 230-pound division far longer than I could remain relevant in the open.
Yeah. In the pancake
just,
division.
just
In
because
the
Pancake division.
Yeah.
just the weight load, right? Just the weight load bearings and
Yeah.
everything else that
Yeah.
you're dealing with. It's
Yeah.
and there's not a huge influx between the 230 and the super heavyweights, but I think there's
Oh.
enough.
Can be.
I don't know about that.
There's
There were-
enough.
I mean, we're
I'm
talking-
not
where,
sure about that.
you know, there's enough where it's a lot harder on your joints and everything once.
Yeah,
once
I
you're
think
getting
there's
up
a
there.
big difference now between the 225s and the open. I do. Like having pulled in both of them, it's a different game. Like that super heavyweight
Yeah.
division, like there's a lot of strength required.
When you're, I think when you're talking the top 10,
Yeah.
top 10.
yeah,
But anything after that, it's not really too far off.
no, it's not.
Like
Yeah.
So
So the super heavyweight, there's no weight limit then, I guess, right?
0 weight limit. Yeah.
Yeah.
So who are some of the biggest, like heaviest guys, I guess, that are like relevant?
Well, I mean, if you want to talk,
Vaughn?
I
I'd
mean,
say
look at. Do you
LeVon.
remember? Were you
Fucking
in?
Neanderthal.
Who is this?
You give that guy a club and a
Non-humanoids.
fucking fur coat, he's
Which guy?
straight out of fucking caveman age.
Levon?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah, like he's.
Yeah.
So how much does he weigh? He's probably like 3 bills.
Oh.
I don't think he's super tall though. I think he's only like 6'1". Like he looks massive in his pictures,
I know that he.
but I don't
has
think
hit
he's like
Thor.
a
I know he has-
monster of a man. Like
I know
he's
he-
thick as
He's
shit.
super thick.
But
He's still got abs. Like I
does
think,
he have abs?
Yeah.
Did you check out his
Really?
abs?
Yeah, he's
I-
a fucking rip, man.
I never seen him with the shirt off.
Oh, he's ripped.
Yeah.
Me
Yeah.
either.
I picture there being a fur coat under there.
I mean,
I think he has been up to 400, but I think he normally walks around like 160 kilo. So that's 320,
Yeah.
like 350 or
340,
60.
350.
Yeah.
that's still
But-
a big human.
But the event that I like to remember. Were you in? I don't think you were in Atlantic City. Were you in Atlantic City? One of the WAL
Trump Hotel?
Yeah, at the Trump.
No, I wasn't there. That was the year before I competed. I was still affiliated
right.
with
You were UAL
at that time.
Okay,
Yes.
so at that event, I think in the super heavyweight division, I think that there were 9 guys
Oh my god.
over
Oh
500
my
pounds
god. It was crazy.
in the super
Oh,
heavyweight. Yeah, 9 guys
Oh.
over 500.
But is that like a good 500 or is that
No,
like
that was a messy
Dude,
500
It
pounds.
doesn't matter.
There's
Like,
just
it
a lot
doesn't
of
matter.
power behind
When
an
you're
extra, 250 pounds.
you are-
on
I
it.
don't think
500-pound
I've met
dude, man.
anybody with a small hand that's over 400 pounds.
it was Latimer.
Latimer, yeah.
I remember
God.
Latimer and Travis. So I remember at that event. So Latimer is like big at this event. Like he's looking nasty. And at that point, Latimer was pushing a little bit. And outside of the strap, he just dummied Travis's hand. And Travis obviously doesn't want any piece of that. He's going right for the strap and had like kind of a low slip and, and he's pissed, right? Latimer's pissed. Gets strapped.
There might have been like a bad call. He thought he had to. He was not happy.
Anyways, Travis in the strap just dummies him. And then Latimer, like 500 pounds of like steam coming out of his nose, like raging bull is like walking around and he's kicking stuff and he's throwing chairs. And people are like, I don't want to tell him to stop.
There was a very big parting of the sea that happened as he raged through.
Yeah, when those guys like Sean Turner, there's a bunch.
Yeah, he was
of
a big boy too.
There's a bunch of them there. They're all big. One day, I'm almost 500 pounds now.
You're getting there.
Yeah, like give me
Close to 4.
Give me like 1 or 2 more years.
You know what? You know when you watch TV and it's supposed to be like in what is it, 4:6 resolution, and it stretches to widescreen.
Yeah,
that's what you'd look like, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'd be way better. Like I'd be way better. At
Just his eyes will keep getting closer and closer together, eh?
squishing everything. It's inevitable. It's inevitable. I think I've figured out the key to strength. So, and it involves
pancakes
and syrup, and bacon,
carbs,
and avocado oil.
It's the macronutrient that we all need more of.
Pancakes.
Some more than others. Eh?
You want to be a happier person? Just eat more carbs. I know that most nutritionists will kind of have some, what do they call it? They'll be holding.
Advice?
Yeah, they might not really advocate this statement, but you want to be happier short term for sure. Long term, debatable. Add carbs, and your body is not gonna lie to you. Like that whole high glycemic carbohydrate. That's where the really good stuff is. Like people talk about, I want like a slow burn. I want like brown rice.
It's almost believable, eh?
I want those yams. That give me like that sustained energy. Man, you go kick back a few shots of maple syrup or like just start eating a jar of honey like Winnie the Pooh. Tell me how happy you get. Tell me how good you feel. I'm telling you, there's something to it. Nobody does that because we've all been scared. Carbs are the devil. Don't do it. It'll make you fat. Yeah, fat and a beast. Fat and like strong enough to run through a wall, right?
For 30 seconds. You got about 30 seconds.
Who needs more than 30 seconds?
Everything that's important in life can be done in 30 seconds, right?
Words to live by, yeah.
That's what I've always been told.
Aim high, shoot low, right?
That's what they always told me. Yeah.
Well, there was a guy on YouTube. I forget the guy's name now. He lived in like northern Alaska all by himself, and he's just, I guess, a lumberjack or whatever. This guy's yoked, like 60 years old, super yoked, and he says his secret is cold showers and honey.
I believe him.
Yeah.
I finished my shower today with a cold shower. It activates your brown fat and shit, whatever. It's a whole thing. You should shower, your normal shower, and then finish with 30 seconds.
What's your brown fat?
It's the baby fat that was inside of you that's been in there your whole life, and it actually stimulates fat reduction.
Is that a real
Just
thing? Is that
and
science?
You learn something new every day.
There's something, there's something there.
Everybody knows that.
Look it up. Look it up.
It's
Brown
like I
fat,
think it's
yeah.
brown because of all the extra mitochondria in there. It's like the white fat is like your unconditioned fat, and then once you're like get into a training regime where you're like having to get warm all the time, the fat turns into like
Molasses.
yeah, it's got like also
Brown
the mitochondria and just
molasses.
starts burning, It's like a thermal blanket.
Yeah. So you get your yogurt fat, and then you're like molasses fat.
Right.
Yeah.
eh? Yeah.
Yeah,
The molasses
yeah,
fat.
it's
Yeah.
quick
Changes
burn,
everything.
quick burn.
Science.
I love all the experiments that you can do with things like nutrition. Like I've done some funky ones over the years. Like this
No.
pancake thing is fun, but the wildest nutritional strategy that I've ever seen is still from this guy Paul Cohen. You know Paul Cohen? He
I don't
loves
think I
me.
do.
I'm Paul Cohen's favorite person on the planet. He
Was that guy eats moldy food?
Yeah.
Or so? Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, eats straight up bacteria, like he's eating like salmonella. It's just like virulent. Wolves in the park. That's all you got to know.
But even
Wolves
before that,
in the park.
Devon really did a ton of nutritional experiments. And when we were in Petawawa back in 1999, he used to strain birdseed and eat it out of the strainer by the spoonful and convince me, as he was convincing himself, that it was really best thing he ever ate.
We
'cause
were
he thought
broke
it was super,
though.
super healthy.
We were broke.
I mean, we were, but still, it was like, this is the greatest. And he's like breaking teeth as he's chewing these hard pellets.
It didn't last long.
No, it was about 3
Yeah.
days. But it was very, very
How
convincing
were the shits?
for those
That's
3
probably what
days.
made
It,
stop
didn't,
it.
it wasn't really what I hoped it was
Just
going to be.
concrete.
I thought,
Oh, yeah.
I was like,
Be
if the
like-
birds can do it, I
You
can
like
do
eating
it.
3 cans of corn and taking a poop? Eh?
I think it's probably a little
Just
more
lick-
harsh than that.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
gravel and liquid, right?
Oh,
I don't suggest the bird seed diet.
Yeah.
No, I
no
wouldn't.
birdseed.
like
No.
like pooping out a fucking pine cone.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
bologna's good too.
Yeah. I mean,
I guess
There's
like the
stuff in
cheapest.
it.
It's the
I've
cheapest
been on that
protein.
diet.
People
Well, that was
Bologna
school,
sandwich
yeah.
and chocolate milk.
I think that
Ooh.
there's a lot of things that like are preached
fried.
that aren't
Straight
always
bolognese mustard.
accurate. Like, people are, I think if you ask like 99, well, whatever, most people
Go ahead, give a stat.
will
Read what he
say
says. Don't
um,
bother researching it.
non-processed, stay away from sugar, stay away from preservatives, if it's from an animal or a plant, without much refinement, you're probably, that's a good place to start. Natural food. I think but I think there's a lot to be said for processed foods. I've had this.
Processed food gives you a very instantaneous source of energy. So sure, there's a great ability to use and capitalize on that.
I
In
think
the
it's more
moment.
the salt. I think it's the salt makes you feel
Yeah.
swollen.
Sure.
I've
nothing
had
with
this
that
argument
either.
with a lot of people that are way smarter than me, and they always make me feel like an idiot. But
It also doesn't mean that you cannot get the same kind of energy from non-processed foods if you just do your research and do it properly. And then you have benefits health-wise overall from the non-processed food source
But there's something about the speed.
of ripping open the bag of Doritos.
Well, there's that too. So it saves a lot of time. But I'm saying
Right.
there's something about the speed of absorption and what that means in how hard
How
you
fast do you
put-
think
are
you
you-
absorb maple syrup?
Are you
Come on.
absorbing
Fast.
it all?
Right, that's not it.
it's processed.
It
Are
is
you-
it's processed to a degree. Every single food item that
No.
we get, hold on. Every single food item that we get to the majority of the food items that we get are processed to
No.
some degree.
No.
But maple syrup is going to be your least processed overall food that you're gonna get. It's a more natural.
But
source
are you
than
absorbing
Doritos.
any of the good stuff, or are you just bypassing all the good stuff and absorbing all the junk?
Well, I think that's the thing. You talk about good stuff, and I think the people are focused on like, man, you know what's like you get those macros. That's look. I'm kind of stuck on carbs. It's just something about carbs.
Just because he finally has allowed himself to eat them, so he's going
No,
to
it's-
preach that they're good.
I'm telling you, listen, I stumbled across this. I stumbled across this when I was overseas.
Devin stopped eating like he wouldn't have a dessert for 5 years. Like he wouldn't have an ounce of sugar.
It's
For a
true.
minimum of, and by the way, he would not have them, and anyone who had them around him was severely judged for doing so.
It's true, but that was a different time.
Yes,
and
they
I
were.
I didn't know what I know now. When so we'd I when I was on tour, sometimes we were busy and sometimes we weren't. And I remember sometimes we'd just be sitting around, and I knew that I was gonna have a workout in a couple hours, and be sitting on the couch watching TV. And I would pound back sometimes, just, I don't know why I started doing it, probably because I hated myself or something. But for whatever reason, I started to eat, I think it was chocolate bars or like,
Hated yourself.
or
Or you like chocolate bars. Like what?
I don't know. It was like a
What is
form
this?
of like, for some reason I started to eat some crappy food. And like, so I think I started off like a full bag of chips. Like a full bag of and at that time that was completely unheard of for me.
Yeah.
Times have changed.
My, how times change.
Right, but like at that time, like for me to even eat chips was weird. But like I'd eat like a whole bag of chips, and then I'd sit there, and then I'd go have a workout, and I would have like the most intense workout like I could possibly have. And that's when I came up with corn-fed pumps. I was like, this is ridiculous. Like, I could never achieve this pump with regular food because it's somehow the speed that the corn is like spreading through my body is way faster in its processed state than any healthy food that I could eat.
Definitely not cancer. It's definitely just
No,
power.
man, it was pure. Like I was
mean,
like, the loss. You should try.
Do you even
that.
get anything out of corn? Like, is
Dude.
there anything?
Oh,
Corn-fed
God.
pumps?
Oh, isn't it just a
Corn-fed-
cleaner?
It's
Dude.
You eat it to help clean out your
It's not
intestines?
a real thing anymore. Corn is
Huh?
something that was now manufactured.
I'm telling
we used
you.
to have corn when we were
I
kids.
thought it was just a filler.
Now it's like a whole manufactured thing.
Yeah, it's a filler.
It's not a real
Right.
thing.
Yeah,
It's
filler and a
toothpaste.
cleaner.
It's in everything.
And I'm telling you, you get that in you. I'm telling you, you try it.
Yeah,
You
I think
try it.
I think everybody's a little different, right? Because I know when I went to school, I had McDonald's probably about every day, and I have a buddy of mine who did pretty much the same thing. I got way fatter than he did, so I think everybody.
But were you
Yeah,
working out?
100%.
Oh yeah, I was strong. Like I was strong as fuck. I was probably stronger than I've ever been in my life. But I look like shit. Like if you go through my Facebook, there's some pictures where I'm
Yeah.
like,
Oh, let's pull
was-
those up now, Matthias.
nah, it's not. We're good.
It's interesting though. I mean, the whole nutrition thing. I mean,
Yeah.
I think that your nutrition standpoint changes depending on how long you think you're gonna live. If you think you're gonna live for 200 years, yeah, eat a certain way.
Eat a vegan.
If you think you're gonna
Nothing.
die next week, man, your nutritional strategy should look completely different.
Yeah.
Like if you want to have the best week of your life, only eat pies and cakes and strawberry ice cream.
Why
and...
stop there? Just do meth and heroin. Just get on.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Exactly. It's the same idea, right? If I knew that I was only gonna live for 24 hours,
Yeah.
probably do meth right now.
I would not.
Probably finish it off on
I
meth.
wouldn't even
Just
see
to
you.
say
Be
you
like,
tried it,
check
they
ya.
still-
Well, it just make the next 24 hours
Yeah.
pretty good. I don't know. Hey, corn-fed pumps. It's the same.
Same thing as
process.
meth,
It's
essentially.
the same thing. It's
Yeah.
the same. We're getting way
Same
off.
as meth.
We're getting way
Same
off.
as meth. It's just like
Totally
meth.
the same.
Just looking for a good
Follow
time.
me for more nutritional tips, guys. Follow me.
Hashtag corn-fed clots.
The meth of the food industry.
Uh,
Well, I think they have done studies though, where certain processed foods with like high sugar and high salt they set off the same endorphins or whatever than like certain drugs, right?
Look,
There's some crossover.
there's
Yeah.
other interesting stuff too, and you look
But
at
that's not unintentional. Sorry, but that's not unintentional. These are like these processed foods are manufactured to do that to our brains, right?
Yeah,
So you have
for
like
sure.
ghrelin attacks and what's the other one? The opposite of ghrelin?
But I
There's-
think, but for my YouTube research, again, is I think a lot of it has to do with like survival, right? So if you're out there in the bush, you're trying to get like the most fat and the most calories into you, whereas we're kind of past that now, right? Like we don't run and hunt our food every day.
yeah.
We just make pancakes.
The height thing is interesting too. Like when McDonald's goes to a new country, doesn't like the national average like jump up like 4 inches or something?
What?
Really?
Yeah.
In height?
Yeah.
From the
Really?
hormones.
Yeah.
Why the
When-
hell am I
hormones
still
and
4
everything
feet
else.
tall
Like
then?
I think when
'Cause you
McDonald's
didn't eat enough of
went
it.
to Japan, I
You
think,
waited till you were
You were
you
meant
were
to
done
be 2
growing
feet
before you
tall,
started
Matthias.
doing it.
I
Yeah.
think-
This is you after.
I think
all the
that
hormones.
the cup size in Japan went up like 2 cup sizes when McDonald's as a company started to serve their food there.
You mean
Mm.
supersized cup?
They got supersized.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
But-
there's some truth to that one. I think that's
Yeah.
hormones in the
That's
beef.
the hormones
and
in
the
the
milk.
beef. Yeah.
I think also it has to do with just how easy it is to assimilate the calories. And that so many people are like underpowered. I don't know. I feel like so many people, they just need more food.
More McDonald's.
More food. And hey, do you feel
Really?
better like when you eat more consistently?
I do, yeah.
Do you
I'm
feel
more tired,
guilty
but
about eating more food?
I don't ever feel guilty about
You don't?
anything I eat.
I feel a bit guilty. I feel like I don't deserve that much food.
I can eat whatever, and it doesn't.
I feel like
it goes out just as
If
quick
I
as it
was like
comes in,
more of a
so-
socialist, I would eat like maybe 1,500 calories a day. But I feel like I'm like a greedy capitalist, just stuffing my face. But like I feel like I'm taking food from people. But I know that I feel a lot better when I eat a lot of food. Like if I eat like an all-you-can-eat buffet like every other day, my level of happiness will increase.
Yeah, it's been a long time since I've been able to go buffet.
Yeah.
I feel a lot better when
I
I'm
miss buffets.
fasting.
Do you really?
I do.
Okay.
Not when I'm actually fasting, but when I come out of a fast and I eat small portions of food and recognize that I don't actually need to consume.
Because your body's
That-
no longer eating itself anymore. Of course
Yeah,
you're
well,
gonna feel
I mean,
good.
There's a lot of different things you can say about it, but I've done a lot of fasting and I know from personal experience what it does for me. And when I have fasted for any period of time, and I come out of it and I eat small portions throughout, I have extended energy where there's no peaks and crashes. The consistent maintained energy is there throughout the day. So you don't have the glycemic spike and drop, all that jazz. You have a more consistent energy throughout the day.
Yeah, but you've never tried the
To what?
Pancake Diet.
To just eat as
You've
much as
not
possible.
because I bet if you went
can't
up
speak
to like
that.
200 pounds,
That'd be
you,
so
I,
awesome.
You
I
might be
say
really
I
happy.
say Jodie for just 6 months.
yeah,
Try
Just
an
like
8,000
pancakes?
calorie a
Just-
day diet.
Try it.
10,000. Hey,
Hey, what's
do
the
you think,
worst that's
guys?
gonna happen?
Right?
Eh?
add if somebody says that they want Jodie to go on the $10,000 calorie diet, I'll pin that comment.
Pin
right
it,
at the
and
top.
also you're gonna have to pay me because that might be a little bit. I have to. I mean, even to afford.
We
the
could
food.
start a GoFundMe page for Jodie's 5,000 calorie a day diet for 6
5,000,
months.
Is that all?
How much would that cost? How much would you do that for?
I mean, 5,000 calories. Is that what we're
5,000
talking about?
5,000 calories a day, every day for 6 months.
For 6 months.
6 months.
Okay, let's do a monthly fee. You're gonna have to pay me $2,000 a month, probably.
Oh,
I
So
mean,
12
it's not,
grand.
it's. I mean, that's like the SERB. I mean,
12
it's not a
grand.
big deal.
That's not that much.
I'm working,
Yeah.
that's
And
kind
you-
of free money
Yeah.
right now.
You can
right?
get those calories cheap too.
$12,000, you can watch Jodie Larratt's
Maybe-
transformation.
Let's make it 15.
6 month transformation, and I want to see like a happiness index.
I'm trying to
where
figure
you,
out the
like,
cost of like
circle,
reversing
like,
it
the
cosmetically after.
Frowny face.
But
You
just
could-
fast. Just fast.
6 months eating, 6 months fast. There you
Yeah.
go.
Right.
So what would
Yeah.
how would you cosmetically fix yourself up if you like put like a ton of fat on everywhere, and then what would you do?
It's called lipo.
Oh,
Yeah,
liposuction.
but I think it's pretty expensive. So.
Is it $12,000?
I don't know. I have to
Is
do
it?
the research. Have to do the research.
See how that works?
Yeah. So you could do it cheap too. You just get a bunch of those like weight gainer shakes, right? And just have like 4 or 5 of those a day.
Well, I have no. I'm sure that I could do it if I really set my mind to it. I think it would be not difficult.
You could. So we could start the GoFundMe. Get you up to $12,000.
15, but okay.
Book the surgery. And then you could become, your next thing you go for is you could be in rap videos.
See, the thing is, when I do a 5,000 calorie a day diet, it goes all over, not just.
No, but with the
there.
liposuction afterwards, you could, take it off
So we
where
only
you
take
want it.
off the
And you
specific
could leave
spots
what
that
else
you
Leave it in
want.
certain spots. You
Right?
want.
You could keep the
Could
ass.
save more money in the long run this way.
You could
Hey,
get rid of
man,
everything and just
This
keep
is the
the ass.
beginning of my OnlyFans page right now. That's what we're talking about.
You know what? I think I watched a documentary about that.
What?
Where the guys that were like
Jodie's OnlyFans
feeding.
page?
No. Guys that
that.
like feeding their girlfriends.
Yeah.
And trying to like
Yeah.
get them to be huge.
Yeah.
So that's
yeah.
a thing.
That's
There's
a
people
thing.
into that. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, Jodie, your Joel X Productions could take a fully different spin.
Yeah.
It would be a separate company, but okay.
You and Alexis could both do it.
We could eat 5,000 calories.
You and
a day,
Alexis could
see
get
what
on the
happens.
5,000, 10,000 between the two of you.
Yeah, Joel X Productions, like and subscribe, or not.
Right?
We
And
haven't
now
done
all of a
anything
sudden,
with the
because of
channel
this,
for
people do.
long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so funny. That'd be so funny. Right?
You could have a competition instead of the biggest loser, like the biggest winner.
Yeah,
Biggest
the biggest
gainer.
gainer.
Biggest gainer.
That's it.
Has that
Yeah.
not been done?
Of course, it should
Sure
be.
it has. Yeah.
If it hasn't, then we're
Just
on
do it
that.
better.
That's our next
Oh
project.
my God. Has that not been done? I will be on that show. Seriously.
Let's.
If some TV executives, let's look this
All
up.
right, the biggest gainer.
Biggest gainer.
The biggest game. Would you be on that show?
I'd try, but
Because
no.
you could still be like an arm wrestler and just fat right out.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Better hand, right?
Fatter hand. Yeah. Yeah. You could
It's all about
get
the mid.
all the fat put into your hand. Eh?
In your hand.
How long
Yeah.
before that becomes a thing?
Body modification.
Body modification in arm
Get,
wrestling.
get a thumb implant.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you can even like you could
Yeah.
get so much.
I want a
stuff.
2x4 bolted on the back of my hand, like Oleg had.
Yeah.
Like when is that an issue? Is it already an issue? Is anybody doing it? Like, I mean, when, because it's imminent.
Well, I think a lot of it is like there's steps to it, right? It's like there's the drugs, right? That's
Yeah.
part of sport. And then there's designer drugs. And then, eventually it's like, complete body modification, whether it's like through cybernetics or whatever,
Yeah.
or even through genetics, right? Because they
Right.
can do like gene splicing and shit now. So you could potentially grow a kid that has like an extra jacked arm,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Hmm.
I think we're really close.
Allegedly, if you look at the conspiracies, China's already done it. And I think like Switzerland or something has already done it too.
Switzerland.
I think it was Switzerland.
It seems so strange that Switzerland would have done it.
I think for some reason it might be a different country, but there's a European country that's allegedly.
Switzerland
Played
is
with,
such a nice country.
Yeah. For some reason, I think it's Switzerland. I could be wrong though. You can Google. I can Google it.
What did they create?
Just genetically modified kids. So China for sure, allegedly for sure, has done it.
Well,
And-
China's been trying to do it for years just so they can determine whether it's a male or a female, just because carry on the last name, right?
But like allegedly, some countries have been playing around with it, like trying to make kids that are like super smart, super strong, and whatnot, right? So their culture can kind of surpass.
China
Yeah.
is so amazing. What an amazing place.
Super amazing, yeah.
I don't think that there is a series that has had that happen, but this is a rabbit hole I do not want to go down. I'm starting to look at some results there, and they're disturbing.
I think we might be onto something.
Biggest weight gainers.
I think you're gonna get a phone call. That's what I think.
This is your next
AMC?
big break. This is the
Yeah.
next big.
I
Is
think
this
this is
Jodie
gonna be
Bear?
the next big
I know
thing.
it's an obscene concept. You're right.
Eh? The next big
No,
thing.
I'll
That's
have
what
to-
you could
I
call
know,
the show.
I apologize.
The next bit.
The next big thing.
Yeah.
Huh?
So I think we deviated a
Sponsored
little
by
bit.
Doritos.
But corn fed.
Spoon for Doritos.
Yeah.
Uh,
Anyways, did anybody have like a real question for us to talk about?
I actually have a ton. You know what?
Yeah.
Let's do some of these.
Yeah.
Give me 2 seconds here.
Otherwise, you'll just ramble on all day.
All day. Someone needs to just.
Rein this in.
He just likes to hear himself talk sometimes.
You know what? Let's do Sean's first. So Sean Culligan asked them about common arm wrestling influences. Ask how far back their common history goes. Ask them who they believe has contributed the most to the sport. It's a bit long. So common influences. Let's just do that.
Well, we already hit on the Langels.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, the Langels. I know my biggest person that's influenced what I do with my game and my position, what I try to accomplish, was Brezink. I know Brezink's been one of your top favorites for many, many, many years.
Honestly, I don't know that Brezink really influenced me. That like obviously Brezink is amazing, but I don't think I really watched Brezink that much in terms of how to technically arm wrestle.
No?
Not so much.
So myself, it was the way he used to be able to just heal people out. Like,
I learned a lot from Brezink when I arm wrestled him.
yeah.
Yeah. I didn't, for whatever reason though, you know how like did you like Jordan?
Jordan.
Michael Jordan.
So he was kind of a hog.
It kind of pissed me off because he was too good.
Yeah.
You know?
Some might even say that you're the Michael Jordan.
Who might those people be?
Anyway, let's leave that one for now. But I remember I used to get a little bit pissed watching Jordan just because I felt he was too good. And I don't know why. It bothered me a little bit. Like
I need to be humbleized a little more.
I started to actually really like him towards the end of his career because he really was that good. Like he really was. But I remember, and I think it was the same kind of thing with John. Like when I was starting off, like watching him, like I'm like, yeah, he's really, really good. But yeah, for whatever reason. But when I pulled him, like every time I pulled him, I learned something. Every single time.
He's good at exploiting somebody's weaknesses, right?
He's just good at everything.
So
He's good at everything. I remember the first time I arm wrestled him in Chehalis. So many things I learned. I remembered at that point that I then fully realized that arm wrestling has nothing to do with trying to pin your opponent. I'm like, you cannot. As soon as you think about pinning somebody before you have control, you're done. Like a good arm wrestler will take that rushed attempt and gain control of the match. Yeah, and I learned that with John very clearly. And yeah, position, right? Position. Arm wrestling is all just position. You got the superior position, you're going to win the match. People talk about pinning, it's like thinking about your retirement when you have to go to work for the next 30 years. You know, don't think about your retirement. Just think about making it through the next day. Yeah. Anyways.
That's deep.
Yeah, super deep. Yeah.
The next one I got here from Patrick Burke saying, Matt, what's a comfortable weight for you now going into a match?
I don't even know what a comfortable weight is. I feel strongest.
Is there such a thing? You're comfortable?
I obviously the heavier I am, the stronger I feel. I still want to try to get myself up to that 260, 265 if I can get there. I've struggled to break 250, but it's something I'm going to keep plugging at. I've got a new Pancake Diet to try now. So we'll see. I got one of them quick metabolisms, so I'm thinking I got to go 80% carb, 20% protein instead of like 40% protein, 60% carb. So we'll try it. We'll see what happens in the next couple months.
So
yeah.
We got 5 days, Matt. We got 5 days.
5 days.
Hey, going back though, we missed a big part of that last question. The big influences in in arm wrestling? Who are the big?
Hmm?
There's one that really sticks out for me. There's one name that's just so consistent across all leagues, and as long as I've been in the sport.
George Zakowicz.
I mean,
Yeah.
he's this guy has touched almost every single athlete in to some degree. Been an influence on so many people, on so many leagues. Has been kind of a steer to, the sport, really, in so many ways. I don't know if you know who I'm talking about.
Crazy.
No, what are you, Crazy George? Crazy George hasn't had that much influence over the sport. What are you talking about? Crazy George.
I'm clearly
No,
wrong. I
what?
thought you had a lot more respect for George.
Well, no, George is a great athlete, but how much influence has he had over the sport of arm wrestling?
I don't know. I thought he had quite a bit. Clearly, I'm incorrect.
No, George doesn't.
now we have to
has he even
guess?
held a tournament?
You're talking about Larry Wheels?
Larry's. The last year, Larry Wheels has been amazing. Ask the same question in 10 years, probably be Larry Wheels. But no, over the last 20 years, one name that just pops up across.
I don't know who you're thinking about.
You don't know?
Nope.
Me either.
Well, I don't want to tell you, but
This is where we have
Are you thinking
to
about
guess
yourself
their
or what?
thoughts.
no,
Oh.
not me. My God.
Larry,
No, it's not me.
You
It's
didn't
not
want
me.
to be the one to say it. You want to bust it.
Okay, it's me. It's me. No, it's not me. No. There's a bunch of people who have had a lot of influence over the sport, but no, it's Neil Pickup.
Oh yeah.
It's Neil Pickup.
Well,
Okay,
he's
yeah.
definitely
Yeah.
up there for sure.
Yeah, I think that he's probably, when you look at.
But you're looking at him as more of a promoter.
Well, you
When
said
we're
influence in the
Sure,
sport.
absolutely.
Yeah.
But I think when that question is asked, I think from the general perspective, you're talking about the specific athlete in the sport. I could be wrong, but that's where my mind went, right? So
Yeah,
like
I
a
didn't
John
think
Mistake
that.
or whatever.
No,
Yeah.
I didn't.
Of course, Neil
Mhm.
Pickup is a rock star
Yeah, I think.
for sure.
Well, no. Anyways, around here in Canada, the guy who's probably been the most influence in this area, like,
Let me call it.
Yeah.
Mike Gould
Mike Gould.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Mike.
and Joe Gould.
Yeah, and now Joe. Yeah. Like, those guys have influenced the sport in Canada and North America. Like, nobody probably had a bigger impact on my career coming up than Mike Gould. Just because, for one, he's a good armor, and I still, to this day, will go to Mike, and he will coach me. And a guy like Mike, whatever he always says to me, it's always the right answer. And I know that if it wasn't for the Mike Gould Classic, I wouldn't have been as crazy about the sport as I am today. Like, and that guy.
Where you had your first glorious match, really glorious match.
Yep.
The first most important match of your life.
Yep.
Was at the Michael
Yep.
Classic with
Yep.
Ron Bath.
Yeah. So I think that when it comes to influencing the sport, as an athlete, you have to be pretty tremendous. Like, for sure, John influenced a ton of people just because of how amazing he was and just a beacon, right? Like, to people watching. But, really, I think if you're not doing some form of promoting or development of the sport, it's hard to influence that many people, right? Yeah. Anyways. Yeah. Good times.
That's good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Something a bit more fun, I guess, from Jason Brooks. So who do you guys think would win in a fist fight between you two?
Devin would kick my fucking ass.
I don't
Well,
fight anymore.
Do I get
No.
to be part of this?
I don't.
There's a
fight.
reason. Why don't you fight anymore?
I'm
Right?
done.
There's a
'Cause
reason
I'm-
for
'cause
that.
I'm washed up.
Yeah.
Because I'm washed up.
Oh, fuck. You were groomed to kill people.
No, I'm done with all that stuff. I'm fucking,
Yeah.
my only fighting position now is the turtle. That's
No.
that's my fighting. That's my fighting
Well, you-
style.
If you were to try that move, I might stand a chance.
Yeah. Well,
What if you could get a weapon? We can give you like a bat or something.
Yeah.
You
I
get
see.
right?
I seen a nice weapon he had at his place, a bat with some nails. To it. So that might
That's
that
for,
might work.
Weeds in our
Weeds?
garden.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Fucking kill them
Weed
weeds,
whacker.
Weeds in the garden. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they come around at night.
Yeah.
We go out and take them out. Yeah. Yeah. My kids are so eager
Okay.
to get the weeds when they come around.
That's good.
Yeah. We love it. that time of year when the weeds start coming around.
Okay, and next question.
Yeah.
I get another one. I can't even pronounce this. From ArmWrestling. This is from Reddit. I'd be interested to hear Matt's top 5 in Canada.
My top 5,
Yeah.
like who I think the top 5 arm wrestlers are in Canada. I would say Devon's obviously number 1. I would say I'm a little bit behind him. I would say after myself, I would say it'd come into Ryan Espy. After Espy, which is very, very close, I would say possibly a Rick Heidebrad or Mike Gould, depending on what kind of shape Mike Gould's in. And then after that, it would be a toss-up. I would say it's a toss-up between about half a dozen people at that point.
There's a lot of new guys coming up that that I don't know well enough to say for sure. Like I feel a lot of strong guys. I think you could for number 5. I mean, you give Sylvain another couple months. I think he's.
Oh yeah, he's definitely.
Where's Curtis and that?
Yeah, that's the thing. There's a lot of new guys coming up.
That's why I say there's such a wide range of.
Yeah.
Like you even got Pork Chops right in there.
That's
You got.
Curtis.
Yeah. Oh, okay. That's his real name.
That's his real name.
Yeah, call him Pork Chop.
Yeah. I never knew that.
What was it? It's his birth name.
It's his
Yeah.
birth name, not his real name.
But there's a lot of guys that are under the radar, right? And we don't really hear about them too much.
Yeah. Like you got like our guy out from Calgary who hasn't been showing up to practice as much. Steve Marcoux won the 242-pound division for
Who's that
nationals last year.
really good dude? Terrible. I can't believe I'm forgetting his name right now. He's awesome. He's from Saskatchewan, and he looks like nothing. He looks like a skinny.
You're thinking Tyrell
Yes.
Wachowski.
Yeah.
But he's I don't think he's been in the game for a while. He was definitely a huge threat.
Yeah.
Massive hit.
Yeah.
But I think he's concentrating more on family life as opposed to the arm wrestling world right now, right?
You know who's gonna be good in 7 years? Like really good. You were arm wrestling today.
Oh, Casey. That Casey boss. He's got a massive
watch.
hand on him.
You watch.
For 18 years old.
18 years old, and his hand is like.
Yeah.
And he's been arm wrestling since he was like 2.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That kid, I think, you give that kid time.
I agree.
I think he's going to start to get really nasty. Yeah. Yeah, a few more years.
And he's such a sweetheart. Like that's the thing. Like to get nasty in arm wrestling, yeah, he's going to be an amazing arm wrestler. But he doesn't. He's the opposite.
Well, he's
of a killer
18. Give him
instinct guy.
time. Give him time.
No,
He's an
he's still
18-year-old
happy
kid.
and
Let
he's
him-
he's
let
got
him
a
get
great,
dumped a couple
sweet
times. Hey.
nature.
Yeah.
Hey.
With the anger brew, right?
Yeah, exactly.
There's a lot. Oh, you know who?
Get fired from
an
his first
interesting
job.
Thing for 5, and I always forget about. I don't know why I do, but because this guy is he's a little bit all over the place, but when he's good, he can get really good. That's Big Grippler.
100%. Yep.
Big Grippler
Yep.
or Liam Grippler?
Well, that's another possibility.
go.
But
That's another
5 years.
5-7 year
Yeah.
protege, right?
Quadruple.
Yeah, you're literally talking a span of 5 years. It's how significantly this whole top
Yeah.
5 can change.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Because
There's a lot of young guys who are
It's the
who are on their
kids
way.
of arm wrestlers.
Yeah.
It's these kids who've grown up in this world and are becoming adults who are completely trained throughout their puberty, like before, during, and after, that are going to be just complete forces.
Do you watch Game of Thrones?
I have, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Do you know about they always say winter's coming, right?
Yeah.
Right. And you know about the big army that comes from the north?
The Army of the Dead.
Yeah.
White Walkers.
No, I'm not talking about the White Walkers. I'm talking about before the White Walkers come, when all the straggly people of the north,
Oh, the Wildlings.
the
or
Yeah.
wildlings,
Yeah.
when they come first. And you know how there's the giants? See the giants?
Yeah.
You know that's real, right? You know that, right?
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Oh yeah. And that's the thing.
Based on a true story.
Yeah, so real.
It is. All that stuff is based off of a true
Dragons
story.
too. Dragons too.
Dragons too.
Yeah.
Dragons too. It's all part of a true story. And there are giants up north. I've seen them.
Now that part's true.
There are giants up north, and I'm so convinced that the top 5 in Canada, that there might be a giant. Up
Haven't
there.
even been found yet.
Well, I've seen them.
They're like 8 feet tall. Like these humans are humongous, and they're that's what they do. They do strong person shit. That's what they do.
I don't
Pick
even
shit
know
up
if they
and put
do
it down.
anything. I think they
if
just.
they do anything, that's what
They got a magic coach like Devon.
crush things.
I went to Chibougamau. Actually, it was John, Casey's dad, who brought me up there. Geez, it was like 10. I'm dating myself.
It's not 10 years
Like
ago.
maybe 15 years ago. I don't know how long it was.
Not.
Okay. Anyways, long time ago.
Not.
Long time ago, I went up north, and they have like these little villages in the middle of nowhere, and they have like everything. They got like Olympic facilities, like a village of like 400 people, and they have everything you could want.
Because their land was bought by government, and they were required to build all kinds of facility for them to use.
And it's because of
Huge
the
hydroelectric dams. Yeah, so they have these huge, amazing facilities for this tiny amount of population that's barely accessed.
So we're up north, like none of it.
not that far, like Chibougamau. Yeah, so yeah, exactly. It's but it's basically
Come on, Matthias.
like,
Why don't you know Chibougamau?
so if you're like in Ottawa,
Yeah.
and you drive basically all day north
Okay.
into like the middle of Quebec,
Oh yeah, Chibougamau. Yeah.
right? Just in the middle of the bush. And there's like Chibougamau, there's like Ojibougamau, and like all these little places that
All the boogamos.
yeah. And these Cree guys come out of nowhere. I was walking up the stairs in this hockey arena. And you know, like sometimes when you're walking upstairs and you see somebody at the top of the stairs and they look tall.
And he's not a small human. So this is to look up at other people. Just keep that in mind.
And I'm thinking, and I've got John Milne with me. Okay. And
Smaller human.
and John doesn't trust anybody over 6 feet tall. Okay. But so we went up there, and I remember looking up the stairs, and I'm like, I think that guy's really tall. And I walk up, and he just got taller as I got up there. And this dude was like 8 and a bit feet tall. Yeah. And I'm like, dude, what the hell? And he's like, just laughing at me, right? Like, just thinking he could squish me, right? And everything. He's like a real giant. And he's like, my brother. He's like, my father is even bigger. He's like, I'm the smallest one in my family. And I'm like, I asked John, I'm like, dude, is he free? He's like, yeah. He's like, they live out in the bush somewhere. Yeah. He's like, yeah.
What do you call somebody from Chibougamau?
Oh,
That giant.
Yeah.
I
think that they're
you
Cree.
call them sir.
Yeah.
I think that they're Cree. They're Cree.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, they have some genetics up there that are just fierce. Like they have some genetics that are designed to survive the Canadian winter.
The very,
Which
very
means
northern Canadian
you
winter.
got to be big and like killing walruses and like polar bears and eating them to stay alive. And that's what Casey is.
Polar bear killer.
Casey's gonna be probably
Potential.
this
Yeah.
like
Potential.
when Casey's like 25 or 30, he's probably gonna be a 400-pound like barrel of muscle. You know, like he's probably almost already there. Maybe be 600 pounds. you know?
Imagine once they get pancakes and McDonald's
Right?
up there, right?
Right? Give him some corn. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Corn feed them, we're all screwed.
Way to go, white man. Bring them your crap.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So I got another question here from can't pronounce these names though. I'm Shatiki. Anyways, it's for Matt. When do you think you're gonna beat Devon?
One more
you want me to
year.
answer that? The date is sliding. You know how like people say, "Oh, we're gonna do this in 6 months," and it's always 6 months away. Always 6 months.
I don't know. The next time we arm wrestle, I think I'm gonna be.
You gonna let him talk over you like
but-
that? Yeah.
I don't care. It's Devin.
Oh my god. Last time was really close, man.
It was.
I think you could have beat me last time.
I think under different circumstances, we're not gonna get involved with. Yeah, I think it was your day,
now
but
I totally think that there was that one round when I was way the back. You know the round I'm talking about? Like you had
was
so
that
you
three? That was round
so
three.
like I was like pretty low, and you made the decision you were gonna press me,
Yep.
and I went like not like this.
Oh,
much.
your wrist was
I
on
went,
the elbow
yeah,
pad.
I went like this far off the back.
It was your wrist on the elbow
Right.
pad, is what you were
Yeah, I
pulling
was
with.
like, I did like a 2-foot elbow foul
Yeah.
to like stop myself from being pinned, and I just got, and it was a running foul.
Yep.
It was a running foul, so it was like, okay, great, good
And
for
then
me.
we had to do it again.
Right,
Yep.
but that, you know, that probably could have been a win. You know? And that would have taken it to that would have taken it to 2-2,
Yeah.
right?
That would have taken it to 2-1 for me.
2-1 for you.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so that would have been 2-1 for you.
There's so many different factors that played part in that one, but
Aren't there always?
Aren't
there always?
Yeah, and you know what? He played the best game that day, right? So
By the end, I had you. That last round was
well,
good
I
for
was
me.
gassed.
Yeah.
Of course I was gassed. I'm not stupid. There's no way I'll ever have the stamina that you have. I need to do it quick. Like if it don't happen within 10 seconds each round, it's not gonna happen.
You know, stamina is a funny thing.
So
The
no,
idea of
don't
stamina.
even try to-
Well, the idea and the
There's-
history of having had stamina does not mean stamina will always be there.
no, your
forevermore
stamina,
without
but your stamina.
The training of it continuously.
No, like Devin is an anomaly. He is. He's a straight out anomaly, and I'm sure you can contest for it,
I
right?
could say a lot of things.
So
Yep.
yeah, I'm sure you could. So, but he is an anomaly, and the fact that I believe, and my theory on it is that he creates about 98% lactic acid than a regular human being, and that is why he's able to progress as much.
So
I am a
let
regular
me speak
human
to
being.
let me speak,
right?
if I may, to the fact that what you believe to be true may be
It's
part of your
true.
own demise.
No, it's
Because it's the belief that someone else has the
no,
superpower.
no. It's not. It's not a bow. It's not a superpower. It's a gift. There's a
It's
difference,
okay.
right?
Okay.
You want to know
There's a
something
difference.
that's kind of interesting, because I think that there is something going on with me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that it does have to do with some energy system.
And they used to do tests on you to try
They
to
did.
figure out how you're
Well-
able to do what you're able to do after you just finished doing what you did, right?
So, well, I
So-
mean, they didn't. It's not specifically they did tests on me. It's just I was part of a process where they did a lot of tests,
Mhm.
and so I did. So there's a couple things that should indicate that I have a high VO2. There's a few things, like I did the Ironman, and I won the military Ironman, which is a race that is like 6 hours in duration,
Mhm.
where like probably the primary thing that you need is VO2. Like you need to be able to burn fat to be successful in.
Well, and you didn't only just win it, but you've like crushed the records on.
No,
he
no,
did
no,
not.
no,
this is
Crush
one
the
of the- No,
records
he
on.
didn't crush records. This is one of those like inflated Devon Larratt.
I think it was him that told me this fucking
Probably.
story.
I'm
Probably
not
was.
saying
Right?
it wasn't.
Oh, never mind. It's true, Matt. It's true.
No, he won it, and the thing, he trained like a madman for an extreme long period of time to do it. But then he literally stopped training cardio, and for a long time, you can rest on that. Like when you've taxed your cardiovascular system to the extent that he did, training, running,
Oh,
winning
100%.
this race, you're gonna have a lot of longevity to it, but it doesn't last forever.
But here's the thing that's interesting to me, because so I assumed that I had a high VO2 because I knew that, like, if you took most of the people that did what I did, they would all measure a high VO2. Also, so I did I did a special forces selection, and part of the special forces selection is a lot of running and cardio events and calisthenics and all sorts of things that have a super high, you would think, VO2 requirement. And I did, from a physical perspective, I know that I was always at the front. I was always like the first dude coming in right at the front of the pack on my selection. Like, I was at that point, I was physically pretty well tuned. But once we all got accepted, like when they went through the soldiers who had the adequate scores to go on to the next phase, they took all of us and they did all sorts of tests, just because they're always trying to improve their selection criteria.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of having to do all this stuff, they could just go, okay, this guy's got this VO2, he's got this whatever, he's got this whatever, we don't need to run him through the 7-day. Anyways, they're always trying to find ways to just gather data. And I had the second lowest VO2 score that has ever made it to where I worked.
Mm-hmm.
The second lowest ever, which was shocking to me because in terms of running and everything, I was always right at the front. Like, I wasn't right at, like, there was guys there that were way faster and way, but on my selection, I did very well. There's dudes who were just, completely off the charts. But I was shocked to find out that it's not VO2. My endurance does not come from a high VO2 score. I think it's lactic. Something to do with the lactic system.
And that's what I just finished saying, right?
But I said it in like half an hour.
But he
whereas
said
Yeah,
it in
I
a
got
much
it.
more let's talk about me longer kind of way.
Yeah.
Anyways.
But no, I think it's true. I think some people just have something that just allows them to go longer and harder, right? Because like I've trained with a lot of like high level athletes, and you see there's those guys that they don't even really do cardio. They smoke cigarettes all the time, and then you put gloves on them and you spar, and those guys can just go forever, right?
Mm-hmm.
I do genuinely believe that there's an element of just perseverance. Like,
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. That
Oh,
doesn't-
everybody's different, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
Everybody's
what you're
different,
willing,
and everybody's
what kind
made
of
up
pain
different.
you're willing to put your body through, what threshold you have, one thing I can attest to that I know for a fact is that, but what I believe to be true is I believe that Devon's nerves run throughout his body differently than the majority of the human population. So
We just dissect them, is what you're saying.
yeah, exactly. So I think there's a lot of things I could say about that, but over the years, touching him, whatever, like his pain, where he feels pain, how he feels it, I think is different than the majority of the population. And I know that there's a small faction of the population that has nerves that run, whether it's top of them, wherever it is that it's normal, he's kind of the opposite of that. And I think that might have something to do with his ability to withstand different pains,
I'm special.
pressures. Oh, that's a given. He's definitely
You're special.
But no, I genuinely believe that there's a different nerve function. Also, we and even how the blood flow reaches his brain. There's a different.
You see how I'm just sitting here and I'm sweating?
Yeah, it's the light. Like the light, I'm sweating too.
Getting like,
Let me turn it a little bit for you guys.
Oh, it's
no,
Sure, it's not me
cool.
talking about you
I
and
don't
your
know.
nervous
No,
system.
I think it's got to do with I'm getting so big.
Yeah, you're radiating.
Like,
You need to
It's
take a
getting hard
pancake
to
break,
breathe.
Yeah.
I am starting to get hungry. I am starting to think about it's almost time to eat again. But we can do a few more of these, which it's rare that we have, this time in such a beautiful studio.
There you go.
Yeah.
I have too many questions. I don't think we're gonna get through all of these there, but
Because we're long-winded in our answers.
no. Well, like I have like 40 pluses, tons of them.
Throw some out.
Let's see if I can find some more interesting ones. Okay, here's one that'll stir some shit. This is from Frontline ADC. Ask Devon why PAL is trembling in front of the WAL athletes.
Man, PAL. Okay, so first off, let me say that I love all arm wrestling promotions, and the PAL has done such a fantastic job. But when you learn deeply about any subject, you start to reveal truths that are consistent across all things. And what I have found to be true. Oh, hold
Is that you?
thought.
What an amateur.
Oh, wait a second.
Okay, take this call.
We gotta take this one. I'll go
Who
on
is it?
speaker. The great Marvin Cohen. What blesses. How are you doing, buddy?
Standing, thank you. So the mission is to get this package to Dubai by Friday afternoon, and you know the time difference. So if you are available tomorrow for a Zoom call, and you're on the same, are you on the same timeline? I'm in Naples, Florida now, East Coast.
Yes.
EST.
Yeah.
Yeah. So can you do something at 10 o'clock
Let's
in the morning?
let's do it.
Okay, so it'll be you, Michael, myself, and Salim El-Mazri.
Perfect.
And Salim is the one who arranged the money for the Pacquiao fight overseas.
I love it. Hey Marvin. Hey Marvin. I have one thing that I got to tell you right now. Right now, I'm on a podcast. And I've got you on speaker.
Hi, Marvin. It's Jodie and Matthias.
But
Matthias.
everybody loves you. So I'm like, I gotta put Marvin on speaker. So let me know if we need to beep. Let me know if we need to beep anything out, okay? And we can go back and do some beeping.
Right, 100%. So the group in Dubai is waiting for your input, which we will review tomorrow morning. In other words, trying to attempt to establish a format of regional and territorial events around the world, literally starting with Eastern European countries, coming back to the United States, and then winding up at a free agent country that has not had a prior event, like Monaco. I'm sure you're familiar with that. In France.
I love you, Marvin. Just send me the Zoom link, and I'll talk to you at 10.
Thank you.
Bye bye. That's the guy right there. When you talk about like
influences on
when you
arm
talk about
wrestling?
influences in arm wrestling, that's the winner, Marvin Cohen. That's over the top,
That's
man.
the guy who organized the
Oh,
over the top.
That's over the top.
For which the movie was based on.
And so many
gotcha.
other
Et
big
cetera.
things.
Behind the scenes, always.
Marvin is not afraid to call the home run every time. I've never seen a guy be able to convince people of anything like Marvin Cohen. Yeah.
I think he and I should team up for my next production.
I think we need to tell him about the next big thing.
Next big.
I think. Where were we? What were we talking about?
PAL.
Oh, PAL, right. And I was like, okay, so the universal truths. Real strength is never in holding on. You can't hold on to anything in this life. You don't hold on anything. Things if you
Probably another call you need to take.
this one is more private.
All right, I got one for you, Matt.
Okay.
So this is from Radisat for Matt. Do you still enjoy doing your day job?
I enjoy doing my day job because I'm good at it,
Yeah.
and I enjoy doing stuff I'm good at.
You work on the oil rig, right?
Yeah, not on the rigs anymore. Like I'm going out to drilling rigs. I don't specifically work on just the drilling rig, but I run downhole tools on the drilling side.
Okay.
So it'll be selective open hole packers, cement retainers, stage tools, liner hangers, stuff like that. So
what's like an average day look like?
Well, it all depends because there's so many different variants, right? So average day on a regular install for a job would be getting a phone call, loading up my truck, heading out to location, going over anywhere from 40 to 80 tools, doing a spacing everything out in the well where they want everything, on what tool they want, what spots, standing out on the rig floor, picking everything up and putting in the hole. And then once we get on depth, function all my tools, set everything, cement it, do whatever we're doing. If we're running a stage tool at that point, a liner hanger, something like that. And then come off, header home. Days range from time-wise anywhere from 12 hours to sometimes 36-hour shifts.
Like long days then.
Yeah, they could be really long days, right?
Do you work like regular, like, Monday to Friday sort of deal?
No,
or just whenever?
no, I'm on call.
Yeah.
So like I get an 18 and 6 schedule. 18 days I'm scheduled to work, 6 days I have off. And then depending on how busy we are, what we got for work coming up, on how much I actually work during them 18 days. And usually it'll be like I'll be gone for 2 or 3 days, home for 3-4 days, gone for 2-3 days, home for a day or two, gone for 2-3 days. So
is that like in the oil sands?
No, that's not oil sands. It's more on the drilling side. Oil sands they're pretty much just digging a big pit, right? It's like
the difference is totally.
It's like an open pit mine as opposed to a mine shaft, right? Oil sands, they're digging the sand out, they're heating the oil and everything up out of it, processing, filtering everything out, and then carrying on. Oil on the drilling side, you're actually drilling a hole 2, 3, 4,000 meters deep, wherever deep they're going, and then
how big's the drill?
It depends. Like you usually start off tapering the size of the wells, right? So you start off with your surface casing anywhere from 8 3/4 to a 12 1/4 inch bit, and then drill that first hole, run your casing cementer off. Then you got an intermediate. Sometimes if they're putting in the ground, if not, and they're drilling a monobore, then they'll go right to their 159 mil hole, get down to the 90 degrees, then kick out for another 1,000, 2,000 meters.
It's like he's trying to speak English to us.
I'm trying to simplify it as best as I can.
Hey, listen, this is me saying how dumb I am. This is
so,
not.
And you wouldn't really understand unless you actually
you're a specialist. This is your
partaked in the industry, right? So it's tough physically, mentally demanding job, right? So
you're saying that you drill down and there's like a 90-degree.
Yeah, so like wells that are getting drilled nowadays, not like the olden days where you just punch a hole straight down because you can only produce from that one area you drill a well. You're like, the earth is in layers, crusts that you've learned in school, and in them different crusts over time with the glaciers and everything have come. Say there is an old underwater seabed or a bunch of seaweed or a rainforest, I don't know where they got folded in them crusts, and once it decomposed and everything else and it's turned into oil, you got that one crust that's anywhere from 1.5 meters to 4, 5, 6 meters thick, where it has all your oil in it.
Okay.
So, and what everybody's doing with the technology that we've come up with in our company and the entrepreneurs of it is everybody's fracking wells nowadays. So if you're fracking a well, and picture there's 2 types of formation. You got one that has good porosity, that is like beach sand, and you got other one that doesn't have good porosity. It's like concrete. This concrete is still saturated with oil, just like the beach sand is saturated with
porosity
oil.
Mean?
Porosity is, I'm going to get to that, right?
Oh, okay.
So good porosity would be, say, beach sand, where if you take a cup of water and I pour it onto the sand, it soaks into it so it can flow through the sand.
Okay.
Concrete doesn't have good porosity, but it's got a shit ton of fucking oil into it. And the only way to get that oil out is you got to create porosity into your formation. So they'll literally, what they do nowadays is they fracture, or they frack the formation. So they pump into the formation will open up, and they'll frack into it. Formation opens up, they pump sand into it. Then when they stop pumping, the formation closes. You've got all that sand trapped in between them cracks. Now you got somewhere for the oil and the gas to flow through. Right?
Interesting.
So they'll actually drill down to the target zone. When they land into the target zone, they'll be at 90 degrees. And then we'll go straight out 1,000 to sometimes 3,000, 4,000 meters, right?
So how do they know how deep they have to go?
They have
I guess-
directional tools and everything
Yeah.
else. They've drilled so many other wells and everything in the area. There's seismic that's told them. You got geologists on location that can tell what the different crusts and everything else that they're coming into, or what they're seeing for samples back, what formations they're starting to come into, right? So there's I can go on for it about hours, right? But it's
Yeah, no, I don't know. I think it's interesting, right? Like,
Very.
I don't know anything about that stuff.
yeah.
Yeah, all I picture is just somebody digging a hole and the oil comes out. People start dancing in it.
No, it's nothing like that. Yeah. No, nothing like that at all.
So do you guys ever see the oil spray out, or do you guys have it capped? right away?
That's why you have your well control, you drill your surface and everything first. So if you ever take on a kick or an influx of gas or whatever into that well bore, you're able to shut it in, divert the flow so you can separate your gas from your fluids and carry on, right?
Okay.
So, yep.
That's the most I've ever heard about oil drilling before.
Yeah,
Right?
there's
That's
I'm
interesting.
just trying to simplify the hell. I'm trying
Yeah.
to think on how
Thanks,
to
Matt.
word it,
We
to
appreciate
simplify
that.
it,
Those
right?
simple folk over here.
Oh, but
So like an average drill you guys do. You usually do it in like a day, or does it take a couple of days?
well,
or-
like it depends on the depth, depends on the formation, depends on the area, depends, like there's so many different variants, right? Depends on
Yeah.
what kind of bit they use. There's so many things, right? So it's like I come on usually onto the well when the hole's already done being drilled and they're going to be stuffing all their production casing into the ground, right?
Yeah.
That's when I show up. So like I used to, for 10, 12 years, I was on the drilling side where I actually drilled the wells. Like I was a driller, relief push, roughneck, did all that stuff, right? So
You've been doing that for how long now? I guess
since 2000.
like
21 years.
21 years.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Powerful.
Yeah.
So you still enjoy it though, I guess.
I enjoy it because I'm good at it.
Yeah, yeah.
I like this reiteration. I enjoy what I'm good at. I enjoy what I'm good at.
Yeah.
So do you see yourself retiring soon then, or you're just gonna kinda-
No, fuck, I don't see myself retiring for at least 10 years,
10 years?
10, 15 years. I got a Freedom 55 plan, but
Oh, there you go.
we'll see, right? It used to be a Freedom 50. Now it's a Freedom 55. So,
They just keep pushing it.
Yeah.
Keep pushing it.
so
Because I think they introduced something recently that I think they cap it. They cap some retirement plans capped at 60 now or something. So it's like if you cash out at 55, you don't get everything.
yeah,
And
you
then
get
you get-
taxed on it until
Yeah,
you
it's-
hit, depends on what kind of retirement or pension plan or whatever it is that you're into, right?
Yeah.
So like I've got money put away into a pension plan that I was with when I was precision drilling, and if I touch any of it before I'm 55, I get taxed significantly on it, right?
Yeah.
So
Retirement's fun.
yep.
Hey, Devin?
Oh my god.
Something you want to say, Dev?
Lucky guy.
Yeah? Okay.
Lucky guy. No.
Got it.
Can't talk about it.
Good times. Good
Yeah.
times, yeah. Well, our plans have changed for Friday.
Okay.
Saturday,
Yeah, no worries.
Well, if that phone call would be a good
I didn't know
plan.
what our plans
A
were
good
for
change
Friday
of
or
plan.
Saturday
Yeah.
yet,
I'm
anyways.
just
so-
rolling.
It's a good change.
I'll just go with the flow.
Yeah.
Okay?
Toronto?
I'm leaving
Yeah,
everything
yeah,
in your
two
hands.
great
You
phone
just tell me
calls,
where and when
one
to
right
show up.
after the other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Marvin wants to do like some.
Oh, I think my phone's ring. Oh, no,
It's me, man.
nobody's
Yeah.
calling me. Nobody's calling me.
You know, I tell you. I should just turn this thing off.
Can't have more good news than that
Oh
tonight.
wait a second. No.
Nah.
It's your mother.
Yeah.
Good news.
Take out
So,
sushi.
so I got another one for you, Matt.
Okay.
This is from Significant Walrus 33.
That is
Nice.
a great handle.
Hey,
May I
This
just
is-
say.
First, he says, "Say hi to Matt for me." You see-
significant walrus 33.
So you see, seems like a cool dude outside of the match, enjoying his channel. He says, he's got a bunch of questions. I can't go through all of them, but
You picked the most relevant one.
yeah. So he says, where do you see arm wrestling as a sport going in the future?
I see it nothing but up. Honestly, I feel just the amount of awareness and the amount of traction and the amount of views and everything else that it's gotten even over the last 5 years
Yeah.
is something else. Like you yourself, I'm sure you probably never really got recognized much 4 or 5 years ago, out walking around.
Not in Canada.
Not in Canada. He's maybe the odd place in the States or in Europe or something like that. But other than that, nobody really knew who the fuck you were. Now, it's a different story, right? Like even myself, I'll be out in the field doing my job sometimes, and like half the guys that I work with, or I'm always consistently on the same rigs lots of the times, and a lot of them will know that I'm an arm wrestler, and the word travels around, and like people, oh, how's it going? Hey, blah blah blah. And, do you know Devon Larratt? And like people,
that's gotta make you happy, right?
People know. Oh, I'm happy to tell them that I do. Right? Actually, we're pretty good. I was just talking to him last week. So yeah, and I'll pull up some of the dick pics that you send or that you get. Right?
I sent you some good ones over the years. I'm getting good with Photoshop, so my angles are.
Just got to clean the lens.
Actually, I think a lot of people have those pictures now.
Yeah,
a lot of pictures out there.
So I say, I think especially I think we've taken a little bit of a dip because of this COVID and everything else. But I also think at the same time, we've also got a little bit of a hype in a lot of other ways, because like we were talking about earlier today with WL when they were doing their thing, PAL, none of us did any of our own production. We let WL take care of all our own production, everything else. With COVID and us actually still wanting to be able to be out there, be heard and be seen, doing our own YouTube channels and everything else, taking our own production, people are getting to see a completely different side of the arm wrestlers and what they're like in real life, as opposed to not just how we are on the table.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? So I think we're honestly just at the beginning of the traction on what the sport is getting, especially like you got people like Jumafu, you got people like Larry Wheels that have millions of followers watching their channels that are taking a liking to the sport, and that's just the tip of the iceberg, right? Yeah. So, and as more people find out about it and what's actually involved in the sport, I think you're going to create so many more people, because there's 90% or more of the population out there still don't even realize what the fuck arm wrestling is. So,
yeah, and I think we're kind of an interesting time too, because a lot of the top level athletes are very accessible right now, right? Yep. So like, you guys aren't at the point where you get like 1 trillion comments, so you guys still have time to like look through them yourself, and you're not paying other people to do it. So you actually get to respond to like fans and
because we can't afford to pay somebody else.
Well, yeah.
Right?
But if you look at like there's certain sports like basketball, for example, right? Like those guys, they probably don't manage their own Twitter feeds.
No.
And if they do have YouTube channels, it's like a high production thing, and like the athletes themselves in that case, or even like celebrities,
they're not even touching it. They're just being told where and when to show up.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Whereas you guys are kind of in a space where you're actually using the tools kind of how they're intended to be used.
I think you're getting more of an in-touch personal side of the actual professional arm wrestlers in the sport that we're in, as opposed to if we were on a higher level than what we were at right now.
Yeah.
So
what kind of benefits me, I guess, right? If you guys are making trillions of dollars, you wouldn't come in my basement, right?
Yeah. So.
But what a way to grow the sport organically from the basement up, so that when you have your fans that go along with it, like they're part of that process, and they're part of genuinely and so they have this loyalty and this commitment to these competitors and these athletes and this sport, and the pride that comes
like
with being part
I
of
know myself, like even like when I was really getting into arm wrestling and I was watching like Arm TV when he used to do it back in the day, and just seeing the odd behind the scenes interviews and stuff like that, I almost felt like I personally knew some people myself more just because of watching the videos. It felt like I actually knew them. Like I remember the first time I had actually seen Marcio Barbosa at a tournament before, and I was in Vegas when the whole Marvin Cohen thing event got canceled and UAL took over, and I walked into the bathroom and Marcio was probably about 30 pounds heavier, a little more out of shape than a guy I had seen him in a long time, because I remember seeing him chiseled, look like a Greek fucking god in all his YouTube videos and everything else. And because I'd seen so many videos, it felt like I knew him. Yeah. And I was fairly outspoken. I see him in the bathroom, and at first, like, holy shit, have you ever gotten fat? And he kind of fucking looked at me. He gave me a look like, who the fuck are you? And why? Like, what gives you the right to just say that to me? And it was And it was, oh shit, sorry, I thought we knew each other better than that, right? Because I had seen so many videos, and after pole matches and interviews and stuff like that, like it felt like I had known him, and like I was okay to say that to him, right?
Yeah.
So
People are probably gonna start saying that to me.
yeah, well, and I'm sure you're gonna
I've
hear
been saying it to you for the
lot.
last 3 months.
I'm saying people who don't know me.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
But they think they do.
Well, and it's true, right? So
Yeah.
because just with I think how we're promoting it ourselves, people are actually starting to get to see a little bit more on the personal side. Like you're not ever gonna see this side of professional athletes in Major League Baseball or NBA or anything like that. You'll see little clips here and there, but you're not actually gonna see the amount of content and personal life on how they actually really are, like you will with the sport of arm wrestling. So
If I may, something that's really interesting that kind of speaks to that from my perspective is that the fans of the sport of arm wrestling are extreme in one way or the other. There's really no, and that's, I mean, that's awesome, right? That's
Desperation.
great.
Yo.
But there's, it's, and it always makes us question sort of like lives of actual celebrities, no offense, and like what they live with, and
actual
And-
celebrity,
well-
not pretend celebrities
Okay,
like you, Devin.
Let's say Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie walking down the street. When's the last time they could just do that, right?
Who the fuck's Brad Pitt? No,
Right?
I'd never heard of him.
So the fans of arm wrestling are like, they are hardcore one way or another. They really either love or hate you. Like, there's like no
Yeah.
middle ground that I've seen when it comes to that. So there's just these people are incredibly passionate one way or another, and it's not like, I don't know. You can like stuff. There's just regular people. We like things. We're interested in things. But for the most part, from my personal perspective, fans of arm wrestling, they're hardcore one way or another. There's really either a love or a hate, and there's nothing in between. And it's a very passionate driving force of these humans that are in this sport, in this industry, and how it grows. It's really influenced, I think, heavily by the people who stand behind them or really, really, really far against them.
Well, thank you for finishing answering my question for me,
Did
Jodie.
I finish it? Oh, I I'm so used to having to try to speak over other people.
No, it's all right.
I feel like I've lost my power position.
You took a call.
In the middle, and now I'm like, can you even hear me? Can you even hear me on this thing?
When did you get back into the room, Devin?
One sec, I'm just gonna mute that mic over there. Yeah. No, but I think there's a lot of relations to how the fans are now in arm wrestling to how they were for mixed martial arts like 10-15 years ago. Because I know now that I've talked to a couple of my friends, some of the troll army guys, they're old MMA guys that used to hang out on the old underground forum and stuff. Yeah.
That's
so I think some of the fans are the same, but it's the same kind of fandom that like early day UFC, like how crazy guys were. You're starting to see that now with arm wrestling. So like I'm totally new to arm wrestling, so I don't know how it was before. But
It's really changed.
I just feel like it's a driving force, really.
I feel like I'm very connected to the social media side of the sport. Like I think that I'm probably as connected as any athlete when it comes to the social side, and I feel like we've had like a few big bursts. And even if you look at the last 10 years, I feel like Game of Arms was a significant boost for us. Like when it comes to the gathering of fans to the sport of arm wrestling. Game of Arms was big. The inception of the World Arm Wrestling League was big. And the crazy thing is what is just as big as the inception of the WAL League is the failing of the WAL League. It's like those two. It's like when the WAL took off, it was one thing, and then when it failed, it like opened up all these avenues for self-promotion. But the last year has been the craziest year of all. Like when it comes to the fans of arm wrestling, like I think COVID made people consume more media than they've ever consumed, and I think that when people just start clicking at night and eventually find themselves in arm wrestling, that they're exposed to it, and there's enough good stuff out there that people get hooked.
Yeah.
And even the last 2 months, like the troll army has been really created in the last 2 months.
Huh.
And now, like, when you look at like social media, like it's gone insane. Like over the last 2 months, you can't read a comment thread on any arm wrestling video or any even picture that an arm wrestler posts and not have like a ton of people who are extremely educated give all sorts of humorous banter. Like it's really wild now.
And there's some legends have been born, right?
Yeah.
Get like, what is it? The Devon Saplenkoff.
Yeah, Devon Saplenkoff is one of the originals.
He's the OG.
It was like 3 days of Joan. Listen, look at this one. Look at this one. This one's Devon pancakes or whatever. Like I'm sorry, don't know. But like it was insane. It was this massive burst. And that's how it's like evolution, right? You have this going steady thing, and then there's a mutation, and it pops, and things just grow from there.
It's that there's enough content being produced now. Like when you go across all the different arm wrestlers and all the different channels, there's enough content producers that the trolls have like a steady food supply. Like Bowen himself is enough to fuel the troll army.
Food supply.
Like there's like I don't know how many Bowen trolls there are.
There's a lot.
I think I've seen like 20.
Yeah, I think Hermes has got a lot. Bowen's got a lot. And then actually Michael Todd's got a lot too.
Got a lot. Yeah.
Michael Toddler is one of my favorites.
Oh, there's some that I like the the Michael under the table, you know what I'm saying?
Travis Pageant, actually, that's my favorite one. I think.
I don't know why
Travis
there's a Travis bag of shit yet. I bet that's just me asking that question.
There's some harsh ones.
There's some. Yeah, I'm not a Travis fan, I guess. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't say that. I just was curious as to why there wasn't.
She just thinks he's a piece of shit.
One of those. Travis and I have a long history.
Good times. Good times. So I got one. Well, I guess both of you guys answer this one, but this one's for Matt. Like, how much? What's the most you ever benched?
What's that?
Bench press.
Bench press? Never done bench press before.
Never?
No, I don't know. I've never. I'll tell you something about my bench, and it's not a lot of weight, and I don't do it very often. But what I do is just enough so I don't look like a complete tit when I go to the beach and take my shirt off. That's about my significant for my bench press.
Like 2 plates?
2 plates for maybe 15 reps. Like,
that's decent.
That's pretty good.
Is that good?
Yeah, that's
2 plates,
great.
15 reps. That's
Yeah.
decent.
That was probably like my best.
Yeah,
my
that's
best.
decent. Yeah.
So that was my best.
Yeah, still, that's good. No, two plates for 15. That's legit. That's a legit
I think
bench.
so.
Yeah.
And I guess this is for both you guys. What's the strongest guy you guys have ever pulled?
Dennis. Dennis's left hand was ridiculous.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. Like, the indicator Dennis was so freaky. Like, I remember, like, I've said this a lot before, but I remember looking at his arm, looking at it, like, really, like, and I'm like, it's a glute. I mean, like, his elbow to, like, upper arm is what most athletes have in their hip joint.
Yeah.
Like, so insanely thickly muscled and not like bodybuilder fluff, like thick striations, tendons all over the place. And he let me at some point in the match, he let me get what I wanted and then just like let me get in the spot. And the even larger demonstration of strength that he did was he demonstrated pity, which was so disgusting to me.
When he let you win
When
that
he
one?
let me win around, I almost vomited all over myself. I was like, I'm so pitiful. I'm being gifted around. I'm like, oh my God, he feels so bad for me. I'm like, I feel so bad now. This is even worse. Yeah, he was so strong.
I don't know. I've never pulled anybody like Saplinkov. There's so many people are strong in so many different areas. Yeah, you actually aren't that strong. You're just very
So
crafty.
strong.
I would say the person that I pulled that shocked me the most for how strong they were on almost every angle on the table, I would say Ron Bath.
Yeah.
I would say
strong.
he's just a natural fucking old man strength, strong everywhere. He's
He
strong
is super
inside,
strong.
he's strong outside, he's strong in a press, he's strong in a hook. Just no matter what angle you hit at him, he's able to bang with you.
And he's an older guy
So
now too.
he is old, yeah.
He's super impressive.
He's like 82?
82. But he's no Saplankov.
No.
He's no
Well,
Saplinkov.
I've never pulled
Yeah.
anybody. I've never pulled
Yeah,
Saplinkov. So
that's a different level.
Yeah.
Man.
What about Levon? You guys
Yeah,
touched him?
he's. That's
I've
the
never
same
played with
kind of-
him.
I think he's the same kind of thing. Like Levon looks really. Dennis, I don't know. The thing, like Levon looks to be like that, but Levon is still. I think there's just more data that needs to be fielded from him.
Yeah.
Like he needs more matches. And, look, I mean, he has. It's hard to say how good he is because he's just killing everybody.
Mhm.
But
Too bad that Michael match
it's
didn't work
right.
out.
That's back on
Too
the
bad.
PAL, right? PAL trying to hold on to stuff. That's their problem. You can't hold on to anything in this life. You squeeze too tight, you just become inefficient, right? PAL's trying to hold on to their thing. If they had just accepted that match, it's just winning. It's winning everywhere. Winning for what they don't realize is that the entire field will get lifted. Their athlete will get lifted. The sport will get lifted. And the thing is they're missing an opportunity. They just missed an opportunity.
Huge.
Yeah, massive.
You know? And unquestionably, that's the match. Unquestionably. I'll be happy to take it. You know, I feel selfish for taking it in a certain way, but like pisses me off.
Kind of along the same lines. I can't find the question now, but I saw it earlier. So Devon's got the match with Michael Todd, right? And I guess Matt, have you pulled Michael before?
Never. No.
Just in practice.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
piss around in Phoenix one day, but
Yeah.
So somebody was asking how you think you'd fare against Michael.
I obviously need to eat more pancakes right now, but I actually think I'd have somewhat of a decent chance against them. Just stylistically.
Yeah.
That's what I feel.
I think unquestionably you control the hand.
So
Unquestionably. Like I think that when you guys step to the table, Michael would have very little option on the go. I think that your hand is going to rip him across the table. Will it stick? You know, he's sticky.
yeah,
He's super sticky. Mike is super sticky. And it's interesting. I think if you can be aggressive enough to hit hard, realize your hand's getting taken, almost without thought transition into a flop press, I think that that's a really scary thing for Mike. A guy with a hand as good as you who can switch into a flop press. That's scary. And I know that because I King's move just a little bit. And I know that that's a really dangerous thing because you can take a dude's hand, but if they can follow it up with a press very quickly, it can really screw you up.
mm-hmm.
And I don't know if you
your King's move is slightly different than Michael's.
it is.
I think stylistically, I think I would have a fairly decent chance, especially if I was on top of my game. do I think I deserve a chance? I don't think I'm close to deserving a chance. And I think there's a lot more fish out there I need to catch and slay before, just before like you're reputable, you actually deserve, you know what I mean? A shot. Like you're not going to take someone that's 15th in UFC and give him a shot at the world champion.
Happens all the time.
It happens sometimes, but it's not, you know what I mean? So I personally don't think I've earned that opportunity yet. I want to earn that opportunity, and I want to get a shot at him just to see for myself how stylistically I think I'd be able to match up with him, which I think would be all right, but I don't deserve it yet. So.
Yeah, I think deserves a strong word, right? Because at the end of the day, you've been arm wrestling for a really long time.
Yeah.
With a lot of top guys, and I think nowadays with combat sports, and I think arm wrestling kind of falls in the same line of how the dynamics work. It's usually not always the person that's maybe number 2 that gets a shot, but it's the person that's good enough and people see an interesting match, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if people can see the match being interesting, then they'll set it up. And especially if one guy talks a lot of shit, that helps, right?
Yeah, that always helps.
Yeah, helps a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, squeaky wheel gets the grease every time.
You guys still got a little bit in you, or are you guys dying out a bit?
Let's go with 2 more questions.
Two more.
2 more.
My ass is getting sore.
Yeah.
Trying to get massive.
Yeah. Okay, so here's one. This one's for Matt too. This is from Crimson Griffin from Reddit too. So this is probably not a new thought, but I want to know if Matt Mask thinks his top role could beat a chimp in a best set of 5. The chimp has been trained not to elbow foul or attack him, and it knows that if it pins him, it gets many bananas.
What kind of a fucking question is that?
Yes.
From my experience about fucking around with chimps, I would say that their twitch reflex is not very quick, and I would think I would flash the chimp before it had a chance and it realized it was even competing for bananas. That's my final answer.
You just kill a chimp.
I would fucking rip a chimp's arm off. Yeah. I'd make a trophy out of the chimp's arm.
I don't know anything about chimps.
Yeah. I think they're slow.
I don't know.
I think they're not quick like cheetah. No, they're out of the animal kingdom. They're definitely one of the slower.
Really?
They're definitely one of the slower ones. Yeah, they're they're like Neanderthals.
Yeah, pound for pound they're stronger because their muscles are like directly attached to the bone.
Yeah,
that's a big difference.
They're stronger, but they're not quicker. I think the strength it would slow them down a bit.
Yeah, could be. Let's set it up.
Hey,
if Ermey's backs down,
you train a chimp, I'll fucking pull him.
Hey, that's a good idea.
Yeah,
I think it's a very good idea.
Well,
yeah, that's good for your YouTube channel.
Yeah. And it's gonna end good. Like nothing could go wrong.
No,
just don't get strapped up.
No. We'll just keep the animal right back to this out of it, eh?
Oh, jeez. All right, let's see if I can get another decent one here. This one's for both of you guys. As far as like history, this is from Grunch or Gunch. Is that a word? Gunch.
Gunch.
Yeah. Which historical figure would you guys most like to arm wrestle? Like anybody in history.
Anybody in history.
Could be like Napoleon.
Jesus. Maybe Jesus.
I
jumped out at me.
Would like to arm wrestle Justin Trudeau.
He's awesome.
He's I awesome. Would like to hit him so hard I break his arm, and then I'd like to beat him with it. That's the end of the podcast. That's as far as the political statements that you're gonna see out of me.
Man, oh man. And just like that, all your subscribers are gone.
Yeah.
YouTube has demonetized Matt Matt's channel. Yeah,
I thought this part was going on your channel.
Just like Rebel News, you have been demonetized.
No, I think the third part was supposed to go on mine.
Oh,
at the end-
yeah. That sucks to be you.
Yeah, we'll put the third part on Devin.
Ah, yeah. Yeah, well, that's been fun, guys. Good
Awesome, yeah.
times. Okay, well.
Anything else you guys want to touch on before we shut her down? May 28th.
Yeah, everybody knows that
I thought
stuff.
it was May 29th.
No, it's 28th.
The 28th.
Yeah. There's going to be lots to come, guys. Lots to come. We've got big plans. Some big announcements coming up.
And then Ermy's coming up. Do you guys have a date for that yet?
There might be a date.
Might be a date.
Yeah.
Can we leak a date?
Can we leak a date? Well, I'll probably announce it before that. June 6th in Istanbul.
Are you going to do it?
I'm doing it.
Yeah.
Why the fuck not?
I don't
There you
know.
go.
I feel
I-
like
I really could care less. I'm not scared.
I
to
feel.
fucking
No,
kill
I know you're
anybody.
not scared. I just would
Like-
want it to be perfect.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. Like physically, I'm not in the best shape I've been.
Will you be?
For a very long time? But
Will
I
you be on
feel
that day?
2 months. I feel 2 months from now, I've got enough time.
So you got
what-
enough, or you
so-
got perfect? Because
I got more than enough.
Perfect.
No, I got more than enough.
So what if you guys start the match and then Ermy says like, "Oh, this is just a practice run."
Well, then he knows. Then I know he's gonna beat me, right?
That's terrible.
If that's the case.
That's awesome.
Oh, I
gotta
gotta eat. I gotta eat. Priorities. Hey, thanks
Yeah.
so much, Matthias. That was fun.
Yeah, no problem. It's been awesome, guys.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming on. It's
Good times.
Thanks, guys.
Well,
Just let it in this thing.
until the next
Awesome.
time. Until the next time.
I'll shut her down.
Okay, come out here, boom! Out of nowhere, just like that. My plan is for the next 5 weeks or less than, cardio. Become a cardio monster. 100% of my time is on getting ready for this fight. And that tortoise and the hare story, it's all fantasy, guys. It's all fantasy. The tortoise boxed for a year and a half, and guess what? Still a tortoise. The hare woke up, got the call, and flashed him, okay? Don't forget that. We're a different species. And everybody knows that arm wrestlers are way more combative than strongmen. What do you guys do? Pick stuff up? I'm gonna crush you, Thor.